Welcome to Cook the Garden Podcast, your weekly audio source for delicious and easy garden fresh recipes and growing tips. I'm your host, Ginain. Let's cook the garden. Hello, and welcome back to Cook the Garden Podcast. I want to share about an exciting opportunity for you to learn how to build your very own charcuterie board in the comfort of your own kitchen. On Saturday, April 29th at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm hosting a live virtual class on Zoom, taking you through all of the steps for creating a delicious and seasonal brunch charcuterie board. Impress your guests this spring and summer and save a lot of money while making your very own masterpiece. I'm offering a special 10% off discount code just for my Cook the Garden listeners. So just go to cookprayslay.com under the Cooking Classes tab. Use the code CookTheGarden10, that's CookTheGarden10, to get your special rate. I'll include all of the links and information in the show notes. So today I'm so excited because we're going to be talking about all things kumquats. What are they, their origin, and of course I'll be sharing my delicious homemade recipe for kumquat marmalade. So I think I've shared before on this podcast that I have a kumquat tree. So I'll share a little bit about my experience with my kumquat tree. I absolutely love it. But just a little bit of background and history, just some facts for those of you who maybe aren't familiar with this amazingly delicious and very nutritious fruit. So kumquats are a small, kind of like oval-shaped citrus fruit, and they actually grow native in Southeast Asia. They were primarily grown for culinary, medicinal, and cultural uses. In fact, they were symbolically believed to bring good luck and prosperity whenever placed inside of homes. They were first introduced to Europe in 1846 and quickly became very popular among gardeners, chefs, food enthusiasts, and then from Europe, kumquats were brought over to North America with immigrants and were planted in Florida as a main fruit for commercial cultivation. So today, kumquats are primarily grown in California and Florida, and sometimes you can find them on a smaller scale in places such as Texas and Louisiana. Kumquats are a great addition to any garden. They're very easy to grow and they require minimal care. Like I mentioned, I have a kumquat tree. It's about 6 years old and it produces so much fruit. And it's been such a joy to have this tree. We have had a couple of pretty challenging winters here in Florida, believe it or not, but it always manages to bounce back. So I just absolutely love my kumquat tree. But a few other facts about kumquats: they are very rich in vitamin C and fiber, and they're really great, a great healthy addition to any diet. It's also a really great antioxidant. The trees normally don't get too large. I love my little tree. It's small, but it's mighty. It's small, but it's mighty. It produces so much fruit on there. But I did want to mention, going back to some of the challenges we've had the past couple of years, where the temperatures would drop really low. Our tree has taken quite a beating with those, but like I mentioned, they always manage to just bounce back. So, once they're able to really, after the first few years, they're really able to just thrive on their own with very little maintenance. And it's just been a different experience, unlike, unfortunately, my mango and guava tree and my first Meyer lemon tree that we lost to the frost to about 2 years ago here in Florida, which I'm still so very sad about. And I believe I still have some trauma from losing those trees. It was very tragic, but that's another story for another day. I just want to go ahead and share a few more facts about kumquats. So I can't not share this fun fact here. Um, I'm actually, as you all know, I'm in Florida, so I have to mention this. There's a town called Dade City. So in Dade City, Florida, there's the Kumquat Festival, and it celebrates obviously the Florida grown kumquats. It's an annual event, and it's been held for over 25 years, I believe. I think they're maybe on year 26, if I'm not mistaken. And during the festival, you experience just hundreds of arts and craft vendors, and they line the streets, and they sell crafts, food, homemade baked goods, kumquat infused dishes, um, ice cream, salsa, dressings, marmalades, cookies, pies, everything that you can possibly think of, cocktails, everything kumquat infused is there. So I've never been to the Kumquat Festival, but I would love to attend next year. So stay tuned for that, because I would love to see if I can even maybe broadcast from there. I don't know. Stay tuned, but I would absolutely love that. So kumquats are often, when I share this recipe, a lot of people ask, so how do you eat these things? How do you eat a kumquat? So typically, you would eat them whole, skin on and everything. The skin is actually the sweetest part of the fruit, and while the flesh is sour, so on the inside is a little bit more sour. So it creates this really delicious, unique flavor of both sweet and tart. They're also very versatile, so you can use them in a variety of different dishes, from salads to desserts. I also have a recipe for candied kumquats as well, which is, wow, absolutely amazing. So I'll put the link in the show notes for that in case you would like to try to make that recipe as well. One of the best things, or best ways to use kumquats, is by making um, homemade kumquat marmalade. So it's really simple. It's a quick recipe, and it's a lot easier than folks think. You think, oh, just jellies or marmalades. That sounds hard, but it's really so super simple. Um, and it's just a really great way of using up your excess kumquats from the garden if you grow them. But if you get them from like a farmer's market or your CSA, it's a really fun thing to make. You'll also find that this marmalade is perfect as a spread for toast, scones, or even a glaze over meats or vegetables. So let's get started with the recipe. So for the ingredients, we're going to start with 2 cups of sliced kumquats. You do want to make sure that you remove all of the seeds. A half a cup of sugar, 1 cup of water, a half a cup of orange juice, a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 1 whole cinnamon stick. So you're going to start in a large pot or saucepan. Add the sliced kumquats, water, orange juice, sugar, vanilla extract, and cinnamon stick. Mix everything together on medium-high heat and let it come to a boil. Let it boil for about 5 minutes, then reduce the heat to low. You want to cover it and let it cook for about 30 minutes, stirring every few minutes. After 30 minutes, the mixture should have thickened and it should coat the back of a spoon evenly. Turn off the heat and let it cool. It'll continue to thicken up as it cools off. Pour the marmalade into a jar or airtight container and keep it in the refrigerator. And that's it. Your homemade kumquat marmalade is now ready to enjoy. So let me just give you a few other ideas and ways to enjoy your kumquat marmalade. Of course, you can put it on top of your toast or an English muffin. You can even add it to a bowl of oatmeal or top your favorite yogurt or parfait bowl. And I absolutely love this idea. Add it to a charcuterie board or a cheese platter. And these also make terrific gift ideas. So if you have some mason jars or even the mini mason jars, you can get real fancy and put your marmalade in there with a beautiful ribbon or bow, and they just make a really, really great gift. So those are just a few ideas that I love to make with my kumquat marmalade. So let me just add a few more tips for making this homemade kumquat marmalade. As I mentioned before, you do want to remove the seeds with a paring knife for a smooth texture. This is probably the most tedious part of this recipe, but it's absolutely well worth it. So you'll also notice that I didn't use a thickener. There's absolutely no need for a thickener in this recipe. Citrus fruits are naturally high in pectin, which is a natural thickening agent. So I keep a few seeds to the side and I add them to the mixture while it's cooking. The seeds actually contain the highest concentration of pectin. So this will help to thicken your marmalade. Once it's done cooking, you can remove those seeds, and I usually include about between 4 and 5 seeds in there. So that's really all it takes. I also prefer slicing the kumquat in the shape of circles because I love the beautiful shape of the inside of the fruit. But you can cut it up however you want. It really is all about personal preference. You can keep it stored in the refrigerator for up to 4 weeks, but it probably wouldn't last that long because it's that delicious. But I typically say 4 weeks is around the max. Now, let's talk about the differences between jellies, jams, and marmalades. While they're all spreads made from fruit, they differ in texture and ingredients. So jellies are made from fruit juice and sugar and has a smooth, kind of gel-like texture. Jams are made from crushed fruit and sugar, and it has more of a chunky texture, while marmalades is made from citrus fruit mainly, including the peel, and it has a thick, chunky texture to it. There are many other fruits and vegetables that can be used to make delicious marmalades. A few would probably include like a strawberry. I've had several strawberry marmalades and jams, jellies, but they're a really popular fruit that's easily grown in gardens. I actually live not too far away from the strawberry winter capital of the world, so strawberries are a pretty big deal around here. Tomatoes, may not be the first thing that comes to mind when you think of marmalades, but they actually make a great savory spread. Peaches are also really great in marmalades. They're juicy, sweet, and they're really perfect for marmalades. And I've had peach marmalades before. You can, put those on goodness anything and they taste delicious. So another one would probably be figs, which I'm really excited about making fig marmalade this year because I have a new fig tree. So I'm really, really excited about that. So those are just a few ideas for garden to table marmalades that you can play around with and have fun with. The possibilities are endless, and there's just so much that you can experiment with and really create some delicious, unique spreads. So if you have a favorite marmalade or jelly jam recipe that you absolutely love, definitely let me know. Share on Instagram. I'm Cook the Garden on Instagram, or shoot me an email at info@cookprayslay.com. I would love to hear from you. What are your favorite marmalade recipes or jams or jellies? Any kind of spread. I would love to hear what your favorites are. As always, I had such a blast. This was such a fun episode talking all things kumquats. I hope you all enjoyed it too. Have a wonderful and blessed week, everyone. Take care. Thank you for tuning in to this week's Cook the Garden. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a 5-star review. As a new podcast, it really helps to add value while growing our awesome community. As always, I really appreciate it. Until next time, friends, keep slaying those garden fresh recipes.